I saw her sitting there all by herself, alone at a Tractor Supply. I didn't save her. She saved me. All right, so since we've done this before, we're gonna bypass the basics and just go over the mods real quick, and then talk about how we feel about this thing after 2 years. Let's get into it. All right, going from tip to tail, series of pad eyes here, and made some custom bungees, and I added that basically just to hold my net. Below the installed webbing here, got two things. We've got a 6-inch Harmony hatch, and in there we've got a first aid kit. Outside of the hatch here we have our power for our battery system that powers the camera and the sonar. We added a handle to the front and the rear. This here is my power point for my front camera. The Scotty mount holds the front camera and microphone system. Moving on, we removed the stock foot pegs and added these adjustables, and it just gives a lot more real estate for the legs and prevents the stupid little standard ones from just poking into your legs the entire day. Here we get into the sonar mount, another cable gland here for the power. Typically I put the transducer right there on that low profile Scotty track mount that those little recesses are designed for. Immediately decided I didn't like these molded in handles here, so I added these, robusted those up a little bit, because typically I'll just use one of these to hoist and heave the kayak onto the roof of the Jeep. So from the stock rod holders, the two there, added two more. We've got another power point here for the rear camera, and in order to install that, I added a 4-inch hatch there, which it's pretty much built for, just to have access for the hardware installation and the electrical. On the ExoPack skeleton there that comes with the kayak, as many of you know, you can purchase an additional accessory. It's basically a bag that fits into that space. You see I use this a little bit differently. I modified this a little bit with an awful lot of ABS on the top and bottom for my rear camera mount. We get to the back and we have a rear handle, and then over here on the other side of the kayak we've got an anchor trolley for those times in the river where you just need to stay still. We also got rid of some of those squeaks with this marine deck padding that I custom cut to fit the foot spaces, so the feet don't squeak nearly as much as they did with just the bare surface there. Although a lot of the squeaking the blame can go straight to my water shoes, that's for sure. It's my little control center here. One of the switches powers the sonar, the other one powers the USB ports for the cameras. And then we've got a little voltage meter there. So how do we feel about it? Pretty good. Over the course of the last 2 years, this kayak has been out with me approximately 100 times. For a kayak this size, it is relatively stable. I've only put myself in a situation once where I actually tipped the kayak, and the only reason that happened was I was sitting here, rear camera failed, I was trying to work on it, shoulder breached the beam, and it was all over. I wish I had the footage for that, but obviously I had camera problems after that. But stability-wise, it's pretty good. It's a very short, very light kayak, so I wouldn't stand up on it, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody stand up in this kayak. Well, that guy doesn't count. He could balance a pinky toe on a 2-inch board. Maneuverability. You can come out of a Class 2 rapid and pretty much park the thing on a dime with only one hand on the paddle. It's one of the things I absolutely love about the lightweight and the shortness of this kayak. And the same goes for transportability, for that matter. Due to that lightweight, I can hoist this thing up on my lifted Jeep, no problem. It is just so easy to manage when it comes to transport. Durability, absolutely no complaints. Something that I did last year that I thought was a major mistake, because I have a tendency of abusing kayaks, was that this thing pretty much lived on the roof of my Jeep on J-bars the entire summer. I tend to over-tighten my lashing straps a little bit, and there was an area right here that kind of caved in a little bit. I took it off the Jeep, it sat for a couple of weeks, came right back out. Hull durability. Considering the thing spends almost all of its time in the rocky bottoms of the Potomac watershed, it's doing really, really well. The only spots of concern are here at the tip and here at the keel. And in fact, the keel is getting a little bit soft. But that's 100% self-inflicted. That's because I get very lazy and drag the kayak where I shouldn't be dragging it. If you take better care of your kayak, that won't happen. Bottom line, if you're looking for a good $300 to $400 kayak that you can depend on for years and years, as long as you don't abuse it like I do, this thing's gonna last you forever.